What's unusual about this cluster of TV aerials? You'd be right in thinking that one of these houses needs to get an aerial guy out to fix the leaning one back up. This isn't what's unusual though. To answer this question, you need to come out on an explore with me and allow me to give you some more context. I was always told, and I'm sure you were too, that a dog is for life. This phrase rings especially true at this time of year, when a dog is for life, not just for Christmas, is widely promoted. Unfortunately, not everybody lives up to this rule, not least the residents of Shore. This is Dog Hill, a television relay of Winter Hill that sits near the top of a ridge of land that overlooks Greater Manchester. It serves the towns of Royton to the southwest, Shore to the west, and Newhay to the northwest. The whole area is shadowed from Winter Hill, the main transmitting station for the region, by other smaller hills. Clarissa Baldwin came up with A Dog is for Life, Not Just for Christmas in 1978. She was the then chief executive of the National Canine Defence League, which later became the Dogs Trust. Less than a year later, Dog Hill was opened. It was originally an IBA site that entered service on the 9th of March 1979 to serve a population of around 2,500 homes. Today it relays television signals from Winter Hill to almost 5,000 homes, but I noticed a problem. Nobody uses it anymore. It would seem that this dog wasn't for life. Okay, I'm exaggerating and making an awful analogy here. It does still get used, but there's something interesting going on in this area. Remember at the start when I showed you this shot and said I needed to give you more context? Well, all of these antennas are exactly 0.9 miles away from Dog Hill Relay. The problem is that the relay is behind them, they're not pointing towards it. On this street, exactly 1 mile from the relay, there's more of a mixed bag. You can physically see Dog Hill, but the majority of the TV aerials are facing away from it. Around Royton and Newhay, the relay's other target areas, it's a similar story. They're all, for the most part, pointing towards Winter Hill. But why? Let's go back to our first street. These aerials are pointing at Winter Hill, over 17 miles away, and there's terrain and buildings in between. I suspect that what's happening here, and I know this from knowing people in the trade in the area who have confirmed my suspicions, is that some TV aerial guys are doing installs and making a few extra pounds. They're likely persuading people that they need high-gain antennas to receive the distant Winter Hill transmitter, or that they need masthead amplifiers to boost the signal. At this property, again in direct view of Dog Hill, these owners look like they've been talked into having long poles on their property just to reach that bit further towards Winter Hill. You'll notice the neighbours' aerials are pointed towards the relay. If you look out of the front bedroom windows of these houses, you'd see this. It's Dog Hill. Their TV aerials for the most part point towards it, but the one on the right is on a long pole pointing towards Winter Hill. Winter Hill does output kilowatts of power compared to the measly 17 watts that Dog Hill radiates, but when you can see it, you really don't need big poles and masthead amplifiers for a relay nearly 18 miles away. There's this notion that you need masthead amplifiers for the best TV signal possible, but in areas with large regional transmitters and dozens of relays, which is most of the UK, they're rarely needed. They also present a problem in themselves, which is the fact that they amplify nearby interference. This is why many of them contain filters for getting rid of the crap they draw in. So, a little more on Dog Hill. It was opened, as I said, on the 9th of March 1979. It has a great viewpoint across the surrounding counties, although you'd never know it looking at today's weather. The city of Manchester did appear and disappear as I was filming, and Winter Hill did the same. On a clear day you can see Merseyside, Cheshire and towards Staffordshire from this point. Today the relay serves much less than the supposed 4,900 homes. Despite the fact that most aerials point towards Winter Hill, many homes of course stream or use fibre for their viewing nowadays. There's nothing out of the ordinary in how this relay works. The small log periodic antenna you see towards the bottom is pointing towards Winter Hill, 18.3 miles away, and picking up television signals from there. These signals are then fed to the top of the mast by a transmitter and feed lines and radiated out to the surrounding area by this impressive array of log periodics. There's 8 of them in total, and they cross over each other to radiate television signals in this pattern. There are 3 digital television multiplexes being sent from here. The first is PSB1, also known as BBC-A, on channel 46 on 674 MHz. Then there's PSB2, also known as D3 and 4, on channel 43 on 650 MHz. And finally PSB3, also known as BBC-B, on channel 40 on 626 MHz. Each multiplex is sent at 17 watts, all from this single array. In the analog television days, Dog Hill started with BBC's 1 and 2 and ITV before Channel 4 was added on the 20th of September 1985. A similar log periodic array radiated the services at 85 watts from a different tower at the same location. It appears that the newer tower was installed in 2002. The digital switchover took place here on the 4th of November and 2nd of December 2009. There were other antennas on the tower, possibly for PMR or local utilities, but these have since been removed, and the only other inhabitant is EE for their mobile phone services. At ground level you can see numerous transmitter cabinets that house the mobile phone transmitters, and it would appear that this one houses the television transmitter. Looking down from this vantage point, you can see plenty of television aerials pointing away towards Winter Hill, and if the owner of this amateur radio setup is watching, let us know in the comments below. What's also interesting is that you can see Oldham North Relay from here, which transmits the exact same thing on the same frequencies as Dog Hill. So there you have it, Dog Hill, a massively underused relay of Winter Hill. If you'd like to see more transmitter site tours and other relays of Winter Hill, I'll leave a link to a playlist in the description below.